Okay, so in this very short video lecture, so I will be discussing some concepts and examples about sampling uncertainties. So to start off, so in your analytical one, so you have learned about systematic and random errors. So systematic errors can be eliminated by exercising care, by calibration, and by the proper use of standards, blanks, and reference materials. So ito yung mga errors na kaya nating i-avoid. So kasama na dito yung mga instrument error or yung method error, which kapag gumamit tayo ng pagka meron tayong proper calibration of equipment at given interval, so pwede nating matanggal tong mga ganitong error. So, possible din matanggal ito pagka meron tayong mga proper checks para makita agad natin kung meron bang nangyayaring mali. So, for example, uh, for the water, so you can have a blank sample which should not contain any of your analyte. So, random errors can generally be kept at an acceptable level by close control of the variables that influence the measurements. So, while yung random errors, so ito yung mga errors na mostly hindi natin kayang hindi natin kayang iwasan, pero kaya naman natin siyang i-minimize. So, it's possible na ito yung mga fluctuations sa electricity, and then yung humidity ng environment. So this can cause random errors, but this can be closely monitored so that its influence into the analysis will be minimal. So now, meron tayong tinatawag na sampling errors. So these are errors due to invalid sampling and are unique in the sense that they are not controllable by the use of blanks and standards or by closer control of experimental variables. So kasi minsan kapag nagsasample tayo, hindi natin napapansin na meron na palang nangyayaring error. So for example, nagsample ka ng bacteria sa isang surface or sa isang food material. So it's possible na itong bacteria mo ay meron siyang nucleases which can degrade your DNA or your RNA. So, dito pa lang sa step na ito, kahit na nagra-random sampling ka pa lang sa environment, pwede na agad ma-degrade itong iyong analyte or magkaroon na agad ng interference, which is yung degraded DNA. So, ito ay hindi sila makokontrol by the use of blanks and standards or by closer control of experimental variables. Kasi kung sa sampling mo pa lang meron ka ng degraded DNA, so ang mangyayari, doon sa result mo, kahit na i-reproduce mo pa siya ng i-reproduce, so ang mangyayari ay magkakaroon ka na ng erroneous result, which is yung non-specific bonds in your polymerase chain reaction electrophoretogram. So there are random and independent uncertainties. So these are represented by so bali ito S sub O squared. So variance to. So ang S is standard deviation and S squared is variance. So S sub O squared is equal to S sub S squared plus S sub M squared. So ito yung pinag-plus na variance ng sampling at method. So makikita natin dito na meron talagang influence yung sampling sa error na makukuha mo sa analysis. So, analysis of variance, ANOVA, can reveal whether the between samples variation is significantly greater than the within samples variation. So, kailangan natin 'to especially kung gumagawa tayo ng, ang tinatawag natin na statistical process control. So ito ginagamit 'to usually sa quality control processes. So, para ma-ensure mo na yung, result mo ay, nagse-stay the same, across a huge chunk of time. So for example, 6 months, so tinatrack mo kung yung bang variation between individual samples is significantly greater than the within samples variation. So ang example nito, so halimbawa meron kang ginagawang metal alloy. So, itong metal alloy mo, so dapat meron siyang 2.75% ng lead. So, dapat pagka gumagawa ka ng statistical process control, so dapat yung value ng lead mo ay nasa within an acceptable range lang. So, let's say you have 2.75 plus or minus 0.05%. So dapat within for example 6 months or 1 year, dapat reproducible yung result na yon. So uh, para ma-ensure mo na yung sampling error ay hindi siya uh, hindi siya makakaapekto sa overall na result ng iyong analysis. So, when the standard deviation of the method is less than or equal to the standard deviation of the sampling over 3, so there is no point in trying to improve measurement precision. In this case, a faster but less precise analysis could be recommended so more samples can be analyzed. More samples could lead to higher precision. So dito, ang sinasabi lang ng bullet nito ay yung pagka kasi mataas na yung sampling standard deviation mo. So kahit na gaano pa kahit na gaano pa kaganda yung method mo. So, ah, gaya nga ng sinabi kanina, so nag-i-introduce ka na ng error sa sampling pa lang. So, ang magagawa mo dito, kung alam mo na mataas yung error ng sampling, you can increase the samples. So, ang mangyayari dito, madadilute niya yung error mo. So, habang dumadami. So, pwede kang gumamit ng mas less precise na method pero mas mabilis. Kumbaga, high throughput method para makapaglabas ka ng maraming results. So, kung halimbawa, ang normal mo lang na ginagamit ay 3 replications. So, pwede kang mag 10 replications and then hope na ma-reduce yung error due to sampling. So, kailangan mo humanap ng method na makakapag-provide sa iyo ng 10 replicated results within the same span of time as your usual 3 replicate analysis. And also, dapat yung cost ganun din. Or better or mas cheap dapat yung magiging cost ng ipapalit mong analysis. Kasi tandaan nyo, so 10 na yung i-analyze nyo instead of 3. So, there are agent costs for each added sample. So that ends this lecture. Thank you for listening.